Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This one's going to be a little bit different. I normally do a review. I recorded it, but I thought, no, I'm not going to deliver that. I want to basically talk about something a little bit different. But it will link into yesterday's result. As we know, yesterday's result, Grimsby ended up falling to a 2-1 defeat at the hands of Swindon. Free-flowing Swindon, which now leave the Mariners 19th in League Two. 2 wins from the first 10 games, 4 draws and 4 defeats. And people will be asking, well, where does that leave town? And the big hurst in, hurst out debate carries on. And I have an opinion on this as to why I am not hurst out yet. Keyword is yet. In the first 10 games that Town have had, we've only won 2, we've drew 4 and we've lost 4. We've scored 12 goals, we've conceded 14. Not a great deal to get enamoured about. Again, we're not losing heavily in a lot of games. Probably against Wrexham was the main one. And, you're thinking this can't get any worse, can it? And then obviously going to Swindon and losing there as well has made it alarm bells are starting to ring within the fan base, which is understandable after 10 games to only win 20% of those games you've had. It's going to, but this video, like I say, is going to explain why I'm not quite there yet and my reasoning for it. Right, if we look at the Mariners' first 10 games in the actual campaign, I'll just get them up here. If we look at the first 10 league games of the season, we drew at home to Wimbledon, 0-0. We lost narrowly at leaders Notts County, 3-2. We beat Salford 2-0. We drew 1-1 with Mansfield. We drew 1-1 at Walsall. We beat Gillingham. We drew with Bradford. We lost to Wrexham. We lost to Crawley. And then we've lost to Swindon. 3 straight league defeats now for the Mariners. Here's the positives. Apart from the Wrexham game, we've been competitive in every single match we have been in. One of the big negatives is against Mansfield we're in front, against Walsall we were in front, against Bradford we were in front, and against Crawley we were in front. And we really haven't came away with the points haul we probably should have done. Possibly drawing at Walsall wasn't the worst of draws. We should have won at Bradford. We should have won at home to Crawley, and to come away with nothing from that game really stung. So basically, if we base the first 10 league fixtures on their merit, is that a terrible haul? Not on the face of it, but the fact that we've been ahead in a majority of those games and only came away with we haven't won away from home, have we really? But to come away with only a point from the Mansfield game, come away with only 1 point from the Walsall game, only 1 point from the Bradford game, and nothing in the Crawley game. Yes, obviously that's going to be alarming, and obviously being 19th with only 10 points doesn't feed everyone with positivity. Nor me either. I still have belief in this squad, but I do believe that questions will start to be asked. Why do I say that? We've had a tough start. In the end, we got 10 points, but that isn't cutting it now for a lot of our fan base. So I went looking last night and thinking, right, is it really time for Paul to go, or is there some wiggle room? Now, for me, there is wiggle room for Paul. The next 10 games are not as tough on paper in regards to teams that we're playing. They could be simpler games. And this is why I say I'm actually going to give Paul Hurst, or Paul should be given till the end of November before any decision by fans should really be made. And here's why. I'm going to run you through October's fixture list and November's. In October, we start Tuesday when we host Barrow. We go to Tranmere after that, next Saturday. We host Accrington Stanley the following weekend. We go to Stockport. We host Colchester. And we go to Doncaster. That is just in October. In November, we host Morecambe. We go to Forest Green. We host bottom of the table Sutton. And we go to the MK Dons. Here's my point. We've only got, this month, 2 teams in the top 10 of the division. That being Barrow here on Tuesday night and Stockport, who are in 8th right now, on the 21st of October. So, let's break that down. 2 of the top 10 to play in October. The rest are in and around where Grimsby are right now. Tranmere are second bottom of the division. Accrington are around about 15th, 16th. Colchester are just above Grimsby in 18th. And Doncaster are, I think they're 3rd, 4th bottom. So 4 of those 6 games are very, very, very winnable. And this is why. We're hosting Colchester, we're hosting Accrington, we're going to Donny for closest to a derby. If we can come out of October in a fairly decent position going into November, we've got a favourable November as well, league-wise. Like I said, Morecambe, who are around about 12th. Forest Green, who are struggling, again, close to around there, as 20th. Something like that. And then bottom of the table, Sutton. So you look at these 10 games. Town could easily win 7 of those. Easily win 7 of those. And then everyone will be looking rosy. I think, though, if Grimsby end up with the same kind of points total or ratio as we've had in the first 10, then maybe Paul's position has to be questioned. Because on paper, the fixture list in the next 10 games is fairly kind to Grimsby, to be honest. Games that they could win, possibly should win. But I'm going to be at Barrow on Tuesday. If we can get anything against Barrow on Tuesday, will be a forward step. I've tried to calculate myself how many I think the fans will think that Paul has to get. I think he's got to go to Tranmere and win. I really do. I think a win against Accrington, maybe a draw at Stockport. I'd take a defeat at Stockport. By that I mean it's one of those two games in the top 10 where, we're not going to start favouring that, but we do have a good record at Stockport. So I'll say minimum of a point there. Win home to Colchester, and if we can go to Doncaster and get a win, that's 3, 6, 7, 10, 13. We could get 14 points out of this month. I think that is... I think realistically about 12 points is not unrealistic. From 10 or 11 to 12 points out of the next 6. In general, out of the next 10, you would expect us to at least either beat Morecambe. I think we should beat Morecambe at home. Go to Forest Green, and I think we can win there. And then at home to bottom of the table Sutton. Difficult games, obviously. But I've got to be looking at about 14 to 15 points. Maybe a few more. Well, on 10 so far, I'd expect us to at least be on something like 24 to 25 at the end of these 12 games. End of these next few games. And we can go to the MK Dons and get something, I think. But it's the games against Colchester, the games against Doncaster, the games against Tranmere, the games against Forest Green, the games against Sutton. They're the games, and even Morecambe will add to there, but I've basically thought more Forest Green and Sutton and the others, to pick them out and go, they are around Grimsby Town. Now, if our ratio is very, very similar to what it is now, like I said earlier, we will have to probably consider Paul's future as a fan base even, because that won't be good enough. But this is why I think he deserves these next 10 games minimum and see what points haul he can get. The reason why I'm saying that is because when I look at this kind of situation, it reminds me of our season in the National League when we went 10, 11 games without a win. And then we went to Notts County. Now a lot of people were on Paul's back, wanting him to go basically, wanting him to be relieved of his duties. And then he pulled a surprise out in February of that year by going and winning. I think we were the first team to go to Meadow Lane and win that season. In fact, I think we were the only team to go there, period, that season and actually win at Meadow Lane. So we were able to pull that victory out the bag, and it was a catalyst to change things. I think an away win would be the catalyst to change Town's fortunes. And I'm looking at a game like Stockport County to do that, because that'll be a game where the bookies and everyone else will basically say Stockport are going to be odds-on favourites for that. Grimsby don't really stand a chance in it, realistically. So, is that it? The way I look at it is, we've got 2 free hits this month, and that's Tuesday, and that's on the 21st. They're Town's free hits logically. I look at the rest, like I said, like Accrington, like Colchester, like Doncaster, like Forest Green, like Sutton, like Morecambe. They're winnable games. They're winnable matches. And this is why, for me, minimum, I'm not going to say maximum, I think we need to give them until the end of November. Now, I know a lot of fans are not going to agree with giving him till the end of November. I understand that, but look at the fixture list. Look at what we've actually got to come. A lot of the games, 6 out of the 10, are against teams in and around us where we could start to pick up a few results. Tuesday night, Barrow would be a bonus. If we got a win against Barrow, that would be an absolute bonus. I think the bigger game is Tranmere. Out of the next two, I think Tranmere is the bigger game. You may agree, you may disagree, but I think Tranmere is the bigger game because they're second bottom right now. If we end up losing to a team like to Tranmere, not a team like Tranmere, if we end up losing to Tranmere, and we haven't picked something up against Barrow, then it's going to start making you think, are Town really going to be able to pick things up? So I think realistically we have to give Paul, as a fan base, and I know some will disagree, but I'm trying to strip it all back and go, right, our first 10 haven't gone the way we wanted. We did have some tough games in that. We had Wrexham, we had Notts County, we had Crawley, who's started flying. We've had Gillingham. We've had a lot of the top end boys, at the start of the campaign. This period, not so much. There's 3 games there really where people would say on paper we're not going to get anything from, or the bookies wouldn't expect to. That'd be MK Dons, that would be Barrow, and that would be Stockport. The rest, form-wise, flip them, basically. The coin flips. So, take Barrow as a free hit, because, I mean, they're 10th, 9th or 10th in the league. So, they're top half of the table. We're near the bottom, and that's where the concern's coming from because of where we lay. But for me, the important games are Tranmere, are Colchester, are Doncaster, are Accrington, are Forest Green, and are Sutton. If we aren't getting, and Morecambe, I'll say Morecambe at home on the 11th of November. If we're not continually getting points in this 10-game spell, and we only end up with 10 points from these 10 games, then yeah, I think everyone needs to and would have the right to question, is Paul getting the most out of the players that he's got? Is it working? Is anything working? So, to me, guys, I'm not in the Hurst out brigade yet, but I can understand the unrest. I think these are 10 real big games for Paul Hurst and Chris Doig. I'm reluctant to say to save their job because I don't want to say that, but without saying it is kind of like that, isn't it? Because if we can't get results at Doncaster, at Accrington, against Accrington, go to Tranmere, go to Forest Green, and hug Sutton, and we can't get 3 points from those, yeah, there's going to be serious questions. But I think, I'm going to put my positive hat on here. I think we're going to have a good October, November, but if we don't, then even my thoughts may change. We've got 10 games to go in this next period. How many points do you think, realistically? I know we want 30 points out of 30. Realistically, how many points would you fans be happy for Town to take? Me, 12. 12 would be, I'd be more than happy with 12 points. Why? Because, well, actually, from the first month, I think in general, I think 16. Realistically, I wouldn't be hurt too much if we went and lost at Stockport, and I wouldn't be too bothered if we didn't win at MK Dons. If we got something there, great, And against Barrow, it wouldn't be a massive shock if we didn't. But we're at home, so you want to try and get something from that. So really, the 3 games I'm saying is MK Dons, Stockport, and possibly Barrow. They're at the moment, they are free rolls for Grimsby. But let me know, how many points do you think you'd be happy with Grimsby getting between now and the end of November? That, to me, will be close to my decision on whether Paul Hurst has still got my backing, and that's very hard for me to say with me being one of Paul's biggest backers throughout the actual seasons, throughout the time that he's been here, both times. You would then have to seriously question. So between October the 3rd and November the 28th, how many points, we'll do this in a two-way question, how many points would you be content with taking? As in, would you be, okay, that's a good return? Or how many points do you expect Town to take? Mine is over double figures. Mine is, I would accept 13 points. I want at least 16 points from Grimsby this coming 2 months. Because I feel like we've got games where we can do that. So let me know down below how many points you think they'll get and how many points you want them to get. Where are you with being Hurst in or Hurst out? If you're Hurst out, why? And don't say it's just because you don't like Paul Hurst. Because to me, that's just... I don't like cheese, but that doesn't mean that, I'm not a big fan of classical music. If you're Hurst out, why? Is it the style of play you're not liking? Is it the lack of results, which I can understand with the lack of results? But let me know down below. I really want to get you guys' input on this. What is going to be your breaking point for you with Paul, if it hasn't already been made? If it is, what was your breaking point so far? I'm not there yet. I'm giving him 10 more games before I make any kind of decision on that, because I don't think you'll see the board make the move right now. So mine will be between now and the end of November. I want you guys to tell me down below, and anyway you see me, even if you come and see me on Tuesday night and tell me, please come and find me and tell me your thoughts on it. When did you lose faith in Paul? And why did you lose faith in Paul? And what result was it? But there's no doubt that, results, it's a results business. We all know it's a results business. And at the minute, the play is good. The play is good from yesterday's game. We played good, but what we're doing is we're not taking advantage of the good times we have play. We're not maybe creating enough. We're threatening, but we're not exactly creating enough or making the keepers do enough. So, the key things from this video, for me, and this is just my opinion, I want yours after this, is he's got 10 games. So he's got till the end of November. He's got some favourable fixtures. That's why I'm prepared to give him that. I will be at most of them, so we can keep running this back. And I'll come back back with this kind of video at the end of November and see where we are. So I'm saying I want 16 points, but I'll take 14 because of the games that we've got. So let me know down below what you guys think. Thanks for listening to my ramble, even if I've gone back and forth with myself. Thanks for listening to my ramble. Mariners fans, let me know what you think down below. Like I said, tell me how many points you want Grimsby to get, how many points you'd be happy with them to get. I've saw somebody say 8 points. I'm being ultra positive. I'm not expecting much from Stockport, and I'm not expecting much from Barrow, and I'm not expecting much from the NK Dons either. But the rest, you'd look and think, wins, So let me know down below what you guys think. Thanks for listening to my ramble. I'll be back with a prediction video for the Barrow game. That'll be coming out before the game, obviously. So do please subscribe, please ring that bell. That'll let you know when I'm uploading some new content. And I've got a couple of questions for you guys coming up soon as well. So please do please do share, please do subscribe. I'm Dino. I'll see you guys if you're going to the Barrow game Tuesday night. I'll see you there. Let me know what you think down below. And I've got an announcement coming up in the next week of what I've been doing outside of these predictions and all that good stuff. So I'll see you guys very soon. Leave your comments down below. All my social medias do that. And I will see you guys very soon with another video. Come on, boys. We can turn this around. Come on. We've got it in us. Up the Mariners. Let's go.